This is not for you. This is the answer I've received from, say, 90% of the people who have got a vanishing twin. Even the word vanishing twin usually triggers people and closes systems. And I'm going to tell you why immediately, because this is really, really important. It's such a core wound to have a vanishing twin that your system will shut immediately and has so much protection about not going there. Most people I'm working with in sessions, they all have vanishing twins, but they don't book the session for a vanishing twin. They book it for other reasons. And it's not till I look into their system that I see another brother or sister in the system. The reason being is this is the strongest wound you can have in your core. A wound, most wounds cannot go that deep. For example, rejection from mom, dad, another sibling, a partner, a friend. It cannot go that deep. But the deepest level of your soul, on a core level, right in your core, a twin can create an imprint. And that imprint is created when you're in the womb, there's another egg. So for example, a vanishing twin is when there's another egg or an egg splits in the womb into two. And that egg basically lives for a certain length of time in the womb and then will die. Or maybe there's another egg as well. Maybe there's a second brother or sister in the womb as well with you, the third one. So the egg imprint will stay in your aura field. So there would be a second egg, for example. There's always a contact point in the aura. And the first imprints are the most important. Always I'm looking for what is the first imprint? What is the root of every topic, every illness, every trauma? That's how you get results. So what I find is when the egg leaves, when the egg dies, there's a core trauma right in. If this is your aura and your soul, right in the core of your soul, there's going to be an imprint, a wound of separation, betrayal, and missing love, which can cause addiction, which can cause separation anxiety, which can cause, I've been abandoned, I've been left behind, I've been betrayed, I don't want to be here. It could be a suicide trait because usually later in the womb, there's a suicide attempt, usually with the umbilical cord, because I want to leave with my brother or sister. I don't want to be born. So there's lots and lots of information here related to the vanishing twin. I know I did another webinar on the vanishing twin, but there's so much that came in since then and so much energetic information that I want to share with people because this is not something to be rushed and this is very significant. I've worked with cases where someone has a hip transplant on the right side or the left side because the twin was more dominant in the right side or the left side. I've heard of a case in New York where there was a mother, she gave birth to twins and they did DNA testing and they realized that she wasn't the mother. And then 2 years later, she had another child, the same thing happened. They investigated further and they realized that her vanishing twin, which was the sister, was the mom of the children. So I realized that when there's a vanishing twin in the system, the soul can live inside you and also the cells can live inside you or the soul can take over your vehicle, take over your cells and be the more dominant one, usually in the lower chakras, or it could be the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, even the heart. So that's where, for example, if it's in the liver, the reason is there's an aura of deadness and that's you life. So behind your cell, there's going to be a dead cell information. So you'll get burnouts, you'll find it hard to embody, I've heard of people, like a lot of people who have vanishing twins, for example, would have Lyme's disease, and a lot of poisons, toxicity in the system, fatigue, dread, guilt, depression, I don't want to be in this world, focusing on the pollutions of the world, the toxicity of the world, toxicity of people, helper syndrome. I can't, if you're doing workshop after workshop or webinar after webinar and you're not getting the full results, you can't get the results unless you're in your own system. For embodiment, everything's about embodiment now. And you will not be able to embody into your vehicle if you're in somebody else's vehicle. So what happens is, in the womb, as a child, as it's documented scientifically as well, that if mom is becoming sick while the child's in the womb, the child will give their stem cells to the mom. My perception is that you give your stem cells to your sickly brother or sister because your system realized that your twin is starting to get sick. So first imprint, first programming in you is that you must save your brother, save your sister. So you will have that for the rest of your life in your subconsciousness. So you'll have a tendency to overgive. You will have a tendency to really go over the edges about giving to people, not putting yourself first. The reason you're not putting yourself first is because you will sense your twin's dying and then you will jump into the cells, the system of the twin. The twin is not in you, you're in the twin. That's the difference in the first webinar and this webinar. You are in your twin's place. The twin, there's always an age difference, and this is very, very important. There's always a time difference. So one is either younger or older, or there could be a third one, maybe you're in the middle. So if, for example, your twin is older, you will automatically jump into your twin system when your twin dies, but the soul lives on. So you'll jump into your twin system. Now, in your system, or your twin system, will be an overload of genetic information which doesn't belong to you. So you will have this thing that you will have to stay in your channel, stay centered. You really have to meditate, really need to work on yourself, really need to push yourself to connect to yourself, because the minute you relax, the dominant information will come up, which is belong to the twin. I have worked with cases where mothers would dress up their boys as girls or girls as boys because the mothers and the parents sense that there's a boy here or a girl here. Or I wanted a brother, I wanted a son, I wanted a girl. They sense that there's a boy in the system or a girl in the system. And then if you are the girl who's born and you sense that your parents wanted the boy, there is a program that parents want the boy, especially in some countries. So, but there's another part. You will sense that the parents wants the boy. So you'll start behaving like the boy because that's what they're feeling on their subconscious level. Their soul knows there's a boy here. You will be dominated then with the brother. And you start being like a tomboy, or you'll start going more feminine, whatever's in the system. So there's a lot of behavior patterns which are really, really crucial. As I say, even with organ transplants, I realized that with organ transplants that the ones I've worked with is that the twin is the dominant information in that organ, and then that organ will die or become sick. Digestion problems. The reason with digestion is because in the womb, when the twin dies, the cells, not the soul, you digest the twin, the world becomes toxic, the womb being toxic. Then you digest the cellular information which stays in your digestion. Your digestion will not release that information because that's the only connection you think you have with your twin, even though it's toxic for you. So you'll have a tendency to attract toxicity in your system, toxicity in your life. You will have absorption problems with your food, digestion problems. You will eat right, you will do meditation, you will be in nature. It won't get the benefits, it will not get the results. Also because you're not in your own body, you're not in your own system. You cannot embody if you're in someone else's system. With your career, you will work a lot, maybe be a workaholic because there's a lot of addictions usually in connection with that trauma. It's such a deep trauma. And also there could be a tendency to have twin flames, what appears to be twin flames, or relationships like that, or consuming relationships with betrayal, toxicity in them. He should be like me, she should be like me, on the same level of consciousness. That's a twin relationship partnership would be, you should be identical to me, you should be like me, we should be same level of consciousness, we should have the same friends, and we should be on the same path. That is, it's like all or nothing. I used to describe it like if someone was, when I'd watched in the field, I'd say to people, well, it's like going to a nightclub and saying, before asking someone, do you want to dance with me? It's like, well, I spot you, you match my vibration. So it's all or nothing. So we're going to get married, we're going to have kids, you're going to have the house, we're going to retire together. It's like all or nothing. It's not like, let's go on this journey for one stop. It's like getting on a train, one stop, and say, let's go on a date. Let's see what it's like. Let's feel what it's like. Let's get off again. And let's decide to go deeper. Let's go on another journey together. Let's go deeper. It's more relaxing. It's more joyful, a relationship seed. A regular relationship seed is where my partner would be different than me, but brings different qualities to the relationship, which I don't have, and we bring each other up. We inspire each other. You rest in my love, I rest in your love, not consuming each other's love or consuming each other's energy. A twin relationship as well in the beginning would be very fiery and very intense, and then suddenly there's a rejection in the system because your system knows that's a sibling information, not a relationship. So sexuality can die out. Also, there could be betrayal in the relationship, or a third person coming into the relationship because you took a twin into the system which your partner didn't ask for. You may have a tendency to attract partner or partners with vanishing twins too. So now you've brought 4 into the relationship. So you're attracting people who's in a relationship or not in a relationship, or affairs. 2 feet not being in the relationship, 2 feet not being in the marriage, always looking for something else outside, is because you haven't found your twin. So there's a confusing, also a lot of mothers, for example, would put their son in a twin place or their daughters in a twin place. And then there's this bond that you can't let them go. What else? Let me see. There's so many different things with the vanishing twin. As I say, burnouts. A lot of people I've worked with who are very conscious, who've done a lot of trauma work, have even will not go near the vanishing twin. They will go higher and higher into the light, higher frequency, 5D embodiment and all the rest, but it won't work because the shadow side actually is your twin information that you have with your twin. If you imagine in your life that you are having soul experiences and you see those soul experiences like a grain of sand, you're having 2 grains of sand for every interaction you're having because you're entangled with your twin. The twin is literally living in your system and maybe dominating your life. So you have double information in your system with every experience. You can work on your own, but you cannot transform what doesn't belong to you. So you'll do workshop after workshop, and it won't get the results. You won't also get the results because you're out of your body. You cannot embody fully if you are in somebody else's system. So it's very important, for example, if those grains of sand, if you imagine the grains of sand, like if you imagine a sand pile in front of you of good, bad, and different experiences, and you need to halve them, because the good news is that you can halve them and then your results will come in. So you halve all your life experiences because half belongs to your twin and half belongs to you. And what belongs to you, you probably have transformed already, or it's pretty easy to transform. What belongs to your twin is nothing to do with you. Then you'll need to step out of the body. Literally imagine like you're in the body of your twin, older or younger, whatever you find. You need to ask the system inside you. And you literally imagine that you're stepping out of the body of your brother, a man or a woman, same age group, older or younger. And if your twin you find is older, you step Imagine you're stepping up cellularly with your body out of the brain, out of the nervous system, out of the organs of your twin, and going to the left side, being the younger brother or sister. And as you do that, you imagine that you have an aura like an egg, a golden egg, and your twin does too. And then that hole in the heart will never be healed from what you looked for from the outside, from a child, from a partner, from a friend. It can only be filled in by your twin. So you release everybody from your twin place, and you're not anyone else's twin, and you have your connection with your twin, your younger twin or older twin, whatever it is. You imagine this beautiful aura, egg-shaped aura, and you allow your twin to give you back the energy which you're missing from your heart. In your life plan, you used to imagine that there's like two trains going side by side, and you were jumping from one to the other because you were in two life plans, and that's exhausting your nervous system, okay? And instead of working with the two, imagine there's another one going this way. It's only you. Your life, your connection with your twin, your connection with your health, your connection with your life plan, your connection with your cells and embodiment. And then all the energy that you have in your life is not wasted between back and forward. It's going into your system for creation. And you give space. And then you start dropping into your own information. So you're going to step out of your brother's, sister's nervous system, liver, kidneys, organs, and then allow your sibling to give you back whatever cellular information belongs to you, and then you give back, allow to release from the dominant organs the information from your cells. For example, if there's a brother in your system and you're a woman, you could have too much testosterone in your system. Your hormones may be out of balance. Fatigue. Your skin is not belong to you. Your nervous system's not belong to you. Your lungs are not belong to you. Usually, a lot of people would have lung issues, for example, because it's not their lungs. It's not your breath. It's not your space. So there's this, it's not your voice. Choices would be very challenging. I don't want the responsibility of a decision, because the first decision was my twin left me without asking. So I don't want to get involved in choices. It's too heavy for me. Or there's life and death connected to choices. You can change that. Choices can be easy, and people don't have to die with my choices. And I can release the stress of the choices. And I'm not responsible for others' choices. I'm responsible for my own system. Also, because you're in your brother's or sister's system, it means that you're the shadow. You're the second, not the first in the system, because you can't be the first if you're in someone else's system. So your brother is the first as being the younger one or the older one. You're being the first as being the younger or older one in your own system. So that means that you're number one in your life. When you're second, it means that people forget about you, make decisions over you. You feel betrayed, you feel left behind, you're not important, and you have to give, you're not valued. Also, if you're working, for example, in your twin system, your brother and sister system, you will not get full results. You will not feel confident about your gifts. There's nothing wrong with your gifts. You were doing them in your brother's or sister's system. So that would come back that there's no value in my gifts. I'm unworthy, low self-confidence, I'm not enough, no value here. My life purpose doesn't work. Different level of consciousness. There's nothing wrong with your gifts. They work when you're number one in your own system and you come out of your brother or sister's system. Embodiment. As soon as you come out of your brother or sister's system, you can release all the deadness. And also, because you had a belief system from the womb that I must digest my twins' toxins, and the womb would represent the world, because the world now is toxic, because the womb is toxic. You will have a connection to attract toxicity in the world, or focus on the toxicity of life. I, for example, had V injuries as a child. Okay, this is very common because first of all, there's fetal cells of children in the V, okay? And my system was looking for a child, so it sucked it into the system, and it sucked the toxins in the system because I was born in a toxic womb. The womb became toxic. So I have attraction for toxins. So I poisoned myself through food, through many different things in my life. And I didn't realize why, but that was because the toxins were in the womb. So you'll have a connection with being toxic. Toxins from 5G would be more in your, would affect you more. Any sort of toxins will affect you more when you have a vanishing twin in the system, because it represents toxicity, it represents deadness. So it's very, very important for me, what I perceived in the people I work with is to release this information and open up this egg-shaped aura, and your brother or sister has one too, and you release everybody from the system. You don't need to search for your twin. You're whole now, and then you're in your own life, you're in your own health, and you're number one in the system. Then I usually work with mom and dad words, because in the subconsciousness, I'm putting mom and dad first. I'm not putting myself first. Mom and dad really represents my channel. I'm my father creator, mother earth. So I work with mom and dad words. Some of you have worked with them with me already, but that's also important. Also, if you imagine a timeline, okay? And in this timeline, the top part represents where I didn't want to be in the body. The bottom part represents where I enjoy being present. So over my life from the womb, parts of me would say, I don't want to be here. I want to be with my twin, okay? So I don't want to be in life. Now, if there's enough of those moments, I've let my soul fragments out of my system, all right? Especially if I'm not embodied. So I'm mostly out of my body, very little in the body, okay? But so you need to change it. So by putting the intention that I set the intention in this time and space, I'll do this in the webinar, to be present right here now, all those parts of my soul that's out will start coming in, and I'll start getting more whole, and I'll become present in this life system. It's not really about life and death, it's about being present. Also, the fears of death, fears of disease will leave the system. The voice as well, that's your voice, it's your authentic voice, your authentic truth. A lot of people are doing this because in the system, I will die for you. I will take a risk for you. I'll take the hit for you. So that's also in the system. There's guilt in the system because you feel like, I feel guilty because I survived. I'm the survivor. So I would take things for guilt, or take a hit because of guilt, dread. There could be excessive anger and frustration, or autoimmune disease. There could be a lot of fatigue, many different things. There's so many, it's incredible. There could be a blockage about having a deeper relationship. You will not have a deeper relationship because the system's closed. I don't want to be betrayed like that again. I don't want to go to that level of depth. Or my twin doesn't let me have a relationship because I don't want to be with the opposite, with the same sex or the opposite sex, depending on sexuality of your twin. So I've worked with people who suddenly have relationships after we open up the twin place and are open to having a healthy relationship. Also in the relationships, if you have a twin or open in the system, your partner will always bring you down, or you'll bring your partner down. It's not about, you'll never be in the same frequency about, let's have a good time, let's enjoy life, let's expand together, let's create together. As soon as you start creating, your partner say, that's not the right time, it's not good, they pour cold water on it. As soon as your partner then starts creating something, you will do the same in your partner. You will see life through, through deadness, through your twin's eyes, through your twin's emotional body. There's so much. What else? Cells, your health. Your cells are, remember, they're mirrored with a dead cell. So it's very important to release this information from the cells. And also, you will entangle with abuse energies from everybody around, because you're entangling from your childhood, from the womb up through your childhood, with your parents' abuse even more, with the people around you, with people you sleep with people who you're connected with. So you'll have entanglement of trauma in your system. I, for one, when I did the first webinar, I just wanted to get it over with and get on with my life. And I realized it doesn't work like that, because you have to imagine that everything in your life up to the moment that you discover you have a twin was double. So double decisions, everything you were entangled with your twin. So it's learning how to be alone, love yourself alone, be content with yourself. You're nourished, you're loved, you're lovable, you're number one. There's so many patterns which were created because there was a second person in the system. So you're literally relearning how to live your life again. So that's why I felt this, well, I was getting from Spirit to do the second webinar, but also because there's so much energetic shifts in the information, and also DNA information. So a lot of new information came in, which is very different to the first webinar. The first webinar was very, very good, and it gives a lot of key information. This webinar is much deeper, and this webinar is giving much more results than the first one that came in. The first one is like a sequence, it's building up. I realized, as I say, that it wasn't enough to go in once or twice. I needed to go into the system again. I've been working now, it's 11 years with my twin, and I'm still finding so many keys and so many gifts. And it's really gifts. It's really, really gifts. And you also, usually if you've got a twin, for example, you have a connection from a past life. Usually the older one would have been your mom. So if in a past life you were in your mom's womb and she died, you died with her. So you may transition together. And that pulled you into this life with a twin with deadness. One's dead, one's alive. So it's very important to allow all your information connected with your twin to go back to other lives, and set the intention to make transitions separately in separate channels. And every life, we're very old souls. So maybe we were the mom, we were the twin, we were the brother and sister, and we may transition into one channel, or we tried to. So it's very important to make transition into our own channels separately, releasing the umbilical cord, the placenta, and really make transition into your own system, into your own body, your own vehicle. And give space. And then the life information, your soul information, you're in your own channel. So this is also working with your subtle bodies and your wounded astral body, that you don't need to have that. You release the one that is connected with your brother or sister, and you be in your own astral body and work with your own wounded astral body and subtle bodies. There's so many gifts there for you. And all the heaviness, deadness can leave the system. I know this information when I was working myself, saying, wow, I have a big ego. I have this sabotage system in me that's very strong. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm being attacked from the outside. It was because I was merged with my twin, and my twin sometimes was dominating my system. So it wasn't attack from the outside, it was attack from the inside. So I released this system. And then there's peace in the system. And then there's harmony and balance. It's important to go back into balance, not a dead and living system, but a balanced life system. Yeah, left or right could be more dominant depending on what side your twin's on. Then you have to really step in front of mom and dad again as being the son or daughter, or in whatever age group you are, the younger one or the older one, and allow your other brothers and sisters are not your twin, and release them from the twin place. And then only allow your own twin into the system. And then at the end, we'll work with, you were born with your brother or sister outside you, but alongside you, and your twin was always there. So you're born whole, because we're resetting the system now. And then you imagine that you're living your whole life feeling whole, and it's now only about your life plan, not about merging the two, or guilt or shame, or cleaning up other people's messes. With Vanishing Twin, there's a tendency to create a mess or to pick up other people's messes. Also, there's a tendency to start projects, but not complete projects. Money topics, survival mode continuously. or then there's this other part where it just becomes numb or stagnation, or yeah, it's just losing your heart, losing your faith. So there's so many gifts here, and what's happening in the world is incredible. There's so much light coming in, and it is about embodiment. So it's really showing up what's in the system, and it's the right time, and you can handle it. So if anything resonates with you here, I would really invite you to open up your belief system that there is a possibility you may have a vanishing twin, and to go deeper into this. And it'll only work if it's true in the system. I can't influence you or program you to think you have a twin. If you don't have a twin, you will sense it in your body when we start working and connecting. And yeah, it's big. It's really, really big. It's really precious. It's really a gift. And it's like the missing jigsaw piece for so many. That's what I keep hearing from people I'm working with. It's saying that, wow, that's the piece I was missing. I never would have gone there. I've worked with so many, but this is the missing key. And this is the key which changes your life, because everything makes sense then. You'll start having a moment of aha moments, I call them. And once you start realizing why you behave like that, why your relationship was like that, then the energy just goes back and completes, and the keys come in and consciousness come in. And then you can start going up to your 5D and above and really raising your frequency and being fully embodied and get results. And if you were doing webinars with me before, you can go back and do them 100% for you and get 100% your results in the system. So that was a lot, but there's, yeah, it's such a crucial topic to work with. And I feel it's not spoken about enough. A lot of empathic people have vanishing twins. They will not go there. A lot of energetic, people are working with energy, people are working with crystals, people are working with healing and with trauma. They have got vanishing twins because they've opened systems, and they have this tendency to always have this helper syndrome, and they don't put themselves first. If you notice you're not putting yourself first, there's so many traits that show up in the system. Health, I'd say a lot of health topics I feel is related to having a vanishing twin in your system, because that is your magnetation. You're like a magnet attracting sickness or deadness into your system. So this is going to be an incredible webinar. I'm very excited about it, and the results I'm getting in the single sessions are incredible. And with working with the vanishing twin, I've never got such deep results as I've been getting in the last weeks. Spirit has just been working continuously with this with me. And yeah, it's the right time. It's the right time. And then you can start your own life and create for yourself and be in the job that you love to do, because maybe you're in the job that your twin loves, maybe you're in the relationship that your twin loves. So you'll start finding out who you are and why you're here in your own channel, your own body, your own creativity. Have a beautiful day, and maybe I see you at the webinar. And yeah, maybe this doesn't resonate with you, but maybe it resonates with somebody you know. So yeah, if you want to share this information with others or share this video with others, I invite you to do that, because it is such a key in someone's life. I've come across, some people who have not, as I say, had a relationship till they're in a very ripe age. And then after I work with them, they're dating, they're having fun, they're enjoying life, they're enjoying their sexuality. So many people go through their whole life with dread, with guilt, and not living their own life, putting themselves second, and they pass like that. And when it just takes a little bit of consciousness and knowing and a little bit of work, and then you're in your own life and your own system, and you start living for yourself and then living to inspire others. Have a beautiful day, and maybe I'll see you at the webinar. Thank you for all the love and support in all the webinars, and they're all building on each other. It's been really an incredible journey, and let's go further. Thank you.